Welcome back to the Ocarina of Time walkthrough. Previously we visited a couple of great fairies, got some magical spells, played some mini games in Hyrule Castle Town, and this time it is time to progress in the main quest, but I also will be doing a couple of optional side quests as well, so you don't necessarily have to do everything that I have doing in this video. So come out of Hyrule Castle and make your way towards the northeast here, and here we are in Zora's River. So this place, of course, probably sounds like the logical place to go next. Also, now since we have a magic meter, magic jars will now frequently appear as, drops from cutting grass. As also, they will become drops after killing Redeads. So that's pretty nice. Redeads actually drop something important now. Anyway, here is Kaepora Gaebora. So he's gonna talk and ramble again, and he's going to give you a hint about how you enter the Zora's Domain, because they don't just let any commoner in, of course, because everything either has to be accessible to the royal family or, it just doesn't matter. Play Zelda's Lullaby to get in is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Once you're done talking to him, you can go ahead and roll into the nearby tree, and would you look at that, a golden Skulltula. I bet you did not see that one coming now, did you? No, you probably didn't. Not every tree in this game has one, so that was just one of them that does. Anyway, blow up the pathway here to progress. You don't have to blow up all of them, but I don't know, if you have OCD, then you're probably going to want to. Anyway, you can look out across the water here. There's not much to see, but there is this dude right here, and he's chomping down on some magic beans. Now, this actually is part of some sort of mini side quest, but actually you have to kind of really go out of your way to do everything. So, if you've been playing throughout this game, wandering around, you may have noticed random spots of soft soil in this game, and I haven't actually talked about them yet, but you may have noticed them, and they're interactable. You can press the A button to interact with them, and Navi, I guess, just points out there's some soft soil here, or I don't know, maybe it's just Link's mind. So this is what the soft soil spots are actually for. You can plant magic beans in them, and, well, I guess over time, they grow. There is another thing that soft soil spots are used for, and this one is different to whereas the other purpose for soft soil is not shown here. Anyway, over here there is a new enemy that spits rocks at you. This is an Octorok, and so very common enemy. It's been around since the very first Zelda game, except they were land-dwelling. If you haven't already, I would advise you to equip back your Deku Shield so you have an easier way of fighting them. You could, I suppose, use a slingshot, but using a Deku Shield is a lot better because it conserves your slingshot pellets and you don't have to worry about that. Now, actually, I did want to show that off, but there are a couple of pieces of heart that you can collect here as well, and I actually got very lucky with getting one here on recording. The second one, actually, I would not advise this on recording. It just sort of happened, so that's why I did it. But whenever we get the next dungeon item, the boomerang, that would actually be a much, simpler way of getting it. So pick up the Cucco here at the entrance, and then you can bring it up all the way over. You can probably see that piece of heart right there. That is where I am going. So I wasn't sure if I actually made it because the Cucco fell before I was able to, jump. I guess maybe I let go of the A button a bit too late. So you jump off, then you let go with the A button. And then if you do it right, the Cucco should land on top of this platform with you, but for me it didn't, so I was worried that it wouldn't work. And look at that, it jumped up here. And actually, I was surprised to get enough distance to actually jump over onto this. If you don't have to do it, then if the Cucco lands in water that's too deep for it to just walk in, then it'll just fly up and then it will reappear at the entrance. So just go near the entrance again if you fail this. And I was still hearing the Cucco, so I was trying to figure out where it was, but I couldn't exactly find it. And eventually here it is. This is rare, so do not expect this to happen on your playing file. I just happened to get really lucky. But anyway, I'm going to show off the other piece of heart that you can get here in this video. And I don't think I actually mentioned this, but in the description of all of these videos, all of my Legend of Zelda walkthroughs, I write a summary of what I do in the video so that you can just get a better idea. So say if you don't want to watch a full video, you can just read the summary. Of course, in dungeons I don't do it just because that would take way too long and I would probably exceed the character limit, so no thank you. and my fingers get tired. Anyway, so here is another piece of heart. Again, I would actually prefer you to get the boomerang and then use the boomerang to get this piece of heart, but if you happen to, you know, do that just like me, you can do that if you want, but I guess maybe you would forget if I did it or not. Who knows, maybe I'll try to remember that in a future video. So anyway, make it nighttime here, and don't climb on the ladder. That was an accident. I was trying to see if I could kill this with my sword, because I really wanted to conserve slingshot pellets, even though that's not very necessary. So kill the golden Skulltula and pick up your token. And another thing to point out, that this trail right here actually takes you to a hole in the wall, and that water source right there is a diving spot, which is a shortcut to the Lost Woods. You may have actually seen it on your way to the Sacred Forest Meadow. So once you get up here, go ahead and play Zelda's Lullaby, and that will allow the waterfall to part and split open. Interesting, maybe some rock, I guess, pushes out from the top, and I guess it stops the water. I don't really know. Now, this isn't necessary. I wanted it to be daytime just to show off the next area of the game that way, so I did that. Mostly, it always is nighttime by the time I get here, and then you have to wait a little bit for the actual music to play. I don't know, I just love the music. And if you actually hadn't noticed, the beginning of the daytime music is the Sun Song, so that's a pretty cool feature in the game. Anyway, go ahead through the tunnel here, and here is Zora's Domain. I have no idea how this place has any good light source. There are only a few torches, and they aren't even lit yet. So after reading the very obvious sign, in case it wasn't obvious to where you were already, here we are in Zora's Domain, and look at the walls. For a game that's 25 years old, I really like the feature where you can kind of see the reflection of the water on the walls, even though the walls are just rock or stone or whatever. So climb up this huge set of stairs, and here we are. This is King Zora's throne room. Now, he is probably about the laziest, most pathetic king in existence. Well, I guess not in existence, because this is a video game and it's not real, but you can talk to him and find out that he's very worried about his sweet Princess Ruto. So I guess we'll just find out more about that later. Actually, a real point of interest here is this high diving game. So there's a sign that advertises it right now. That's pretty cool, but it'd be nice if we had posters and stuff, but I guess Zoras haven't advanced that much technologically yet. They're too busy swimming all day for fish. So go ahead and pay 20 rupees to play this game. If you don't have 20 rupees, then you may have to do some grinding, but that's not too hard in this game because this is a pretty easy place to come back to. You just have to play Zelda's Lullaby again to get in here. So he throws 5 blue rupees off, which is 25 rupees, not 20, so you actually get a little profit from playing this game. Not a very good business tactic, but okay. Anyway, so you have a timer on the top left corner underneath your magic meter and your health. So you have 50 seconds to collect these 5 blue rupees, and I do not expect you to fail this because this is a pretty easy challenge, even for a new-time player. I'm going to be honest, the first time I played this as a kid, I don't think I actually ever failed this. It's pretty easy. If you do, though, you just have to pay 20 rupees again. It's not that big of a deal. So I guess maybe if you're not confident in yourself, you can save before you play so that you can reopen your game and playing. However, though, every time you save and reopen your game, you'll be inside of Link's treehouse, so that's a little bit annoying. You'll have to kind of make a voyage to get here because you don't have the shortcut available to us. Anyway, so I was able to do it successfully on my first try. I'm sure you will be too. Like, again, it's really not that hard. You just press and hold the A button to dive, and as of right now, you can only dive up to 3 meters, so that's not very, different. Anyway, so go ahead and talk to Zora again, and he will give you your reward for passing his game flawlessly. So here is the silver scale, and now we can dive up to 6 meters. That is pretty cool. So now we've just doubled our diving capacity, so we're able to reach certain places that we weren't able to before. So I'm going to show that off here, but first I wanted to show off these torches. So you may have seen some unlit torches. Well, here is the actual torches that you bring them to, and this one right here is one that stays lit after you light it for the rest of the game. So this one right here is the main one. I would go ahead and pull your sword out and just to conserve your Deku stick, and then pull it out again to relight it. So there are 4 torches you can bring this to. Go ahead and bring it down to this one, and then surprisingly, even though I am in water, you still can roll here and your Deku stick will be unharmed. Now, I will remember whenever I was a kid, I was really bad at doing this just because I didn't quite know how to be fast in this game, but it's actually a lot simpler than you think it is. You see, I didn't really have to roll too many times. Anyway, once all these 4 torches are lit, go ahead and open the chest to claim your prize. Surprise, surprise, it is another piece of heart. So I've already collected like 3 in this video, or whatever it has been already. Yeah, I believe 3 in this video. So pretty nice to do that early on in this video. So I've got a whole lot of pieces of heart. So this is a great video to stock up on health if you haven't collected any of them, or maybe just a couple of them so far. Alright, now I'm going to show off the new diving tactic. So you press and hold down A, and look at that. 6 meters. This water actually isn't deep enough, so I can't show off all the capacity, but it was pretty close to 6 meters, so, you know, I was trying to do that. I was trying to talk to the Zora here, and I accidentally dove. That's one thing that happens a lot in video games, where you try to do something, but you end up doing something else that would look completely ridiculous in real life, so let's be glad video games are not real life. That Zora didn't really have anything to say, I just wanted to talk to him. Anyway, that right there is a shortcut tunnel hole. You may have noticed that earlier, maybe not, I don't know. But now that I have the silver scale and I can dive deeper, I can access it. And here is Lake Hylia. So, right there, immediately as you can see, there is an empty bottle there, and it seems like it has something in it, seemingly. So go ahead and dive down and pick it up, and there you go. Now you have 3 out of 4 empty bottles, and this one appears to have a letter inside of it, so let's go take it to shore and read it, shall we? So, as you can see, look at that. I have 3 out of the 4 empty bottles in this game. If you follow along with me, you should have 3 as well. And I highly would recommend you get at least 3 in this game. I wouldn't say that 4 are necessary, but I would say the 3 that I did get, I would recommend, because empty bottles are a pretty nice thing to have in this game. So, now I'm reading the letter, and of course it just looks like Link is looking at his hand, but it is a letter from Princess Ruto, the king's daughter. So now we sort of have an idea of where she is. She is inside Lord Jabu Jabu's belly, whatever that means, but we'll figure that out later. There are a couple of things to do here in Lake Hylia, and I'm not talking about just being a human lawnmower here. I'm just showing off that, you know, there's some grass here and you can get some good items from it. So if you don't do the quick spin, I would recommend you practice it even just a little bit, but, you know, like I said, don't get too aggressive, because Nintendo 64 controllers do have a history of not holding up when it comes to grinding into the control stick, so maybe don't get too aggressive. You know, I know what I'm doing, and I do it all the time, so I just find it pretty easy. Anyway, you come over to this exit to the north, and this is actually a Hyrule Field exit, so you may have seen it on the map of Hyrule Field. Maybe if you wandered around Hyrule Field, you probably explored all the places. Who am I to tell you what to do and what to not do? I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm making this walkthrough, right? Anyway, so this is the southwest entrance, or exit to Hyrule Field. Well, to Lake Hylia is the southwest, but to Hyrule Field it is north or northeast. Alright, so it has this interesting fenced out area in this wall, so you can't just pass it normally. So you come over to the middle of this fenced out area, and look who it is, everybody's favorite character, Kaepora Gaebora. He doesn't have anything interesting to say. He's just gonna tell you that, hey, there's a beautiful lake ahead, and the Zoras live mainstream, and they have a stronghold there that may come to use in the future. Anyway, so after all of his chattering, you can select no. I'd highly advise you to do that. Please read stuff before you select it. That will help you out a whole lot. Alright, fly away, Kaepora Gaebora. Now actually, I'm here because there is something that you can do here, and actually I probably should have showed this off before or after getting the next Golden Skulltula token award, because it would make more sense as to why you would know about finding something like this, but whatever, I'm here now. So in here there's a grotto and a business scrub, so you go ahead and hit him with your, you block your Deku Shield, and he sells you 1 piece of heart for 10 rupees. That is an amazing deal. If you do not have 10 rupees, literally, what do you even do for fun in this game? Let's be honest. The most fun thing to do is not fighting enemies, not doing puzzles. It's grinding for rupees. That's it. Alright, so look at that. I've already completed... I collected 4 pieces of heart in this video already, and we're not even 15 minutes in yet. I mean, we just now are starting to be, but look at that. 4 pieces of heart in 15 minutes. You can't beat that. I will definitely recommend that you get at least a few pieces of heart by this point of the game, because it would help you out a whole lot. I mean, look at my health gauge. I have 8 hearts, and I have 2 more left, and then I will complete the first row. So that is amazing. So anyway, now that I'm done with that, let's go ahead and go back to Lake Hylia, where we now see the proper introductory cutscene for it, because you notice that we haven't actually seen it before. Even though this is the way most players are, I guess, most likely to enter it now. Because the game is only programmed to show that cutscene if you enter from the Hyrule Field entrance. So anyway, it's nighttime now, but that's just because I've wasted a lot of daytime. Actually, there are still more places of interest to do here. One place, for example, is if you come over to this part right here, you can see there's some tilled land here, and again, I wanted to make it daytime just because it's a lot more lively during the day, and you know, it's more interesting to look at. Anyway, you come over here, and there's a patch here with 2 scarecrows in it, and these scarecrows are alive. You can interact with them. So let's do that. This right here, this is Bonuru, the Scarecrow musical genius. So he says he hears a song once and he never forgets it. So I'm going to pull out the ocarina, and you have to compose an 8-note song for him. I'd recommend something simple. This is what I always do every single time. And we're going to make a new song for ourselves that sadly does not actually appear on the... It does not appear on any of our subscreens. It doesn't appear on the Quest status subscreen. So you just have to maybe take a picture, write a note to yourself about what the song is. So anyway, this other scarecrow here is Pierre, and let's play the same song for him. So he's the wandering scarecrow, except, you know, he doesn't have legs, and, you know, scarecrow are kind of stationary. So go ahead and play your song, and then press B at the end, even though it'll make that little ding sound, which usually indicates that you didn't play a song correctly, but that's just the only way you can stop it. So I just wanted to show that off. That will come into play later on in this game, but as for right now, I just wanted you to think of a song that you could do. I'd recommend something simple, like maybe, I don't know, something simple, something you can remember. So it doesn't really matter. You're not required to have anything certain, but enough with that. Anyway, over here on this island without a bridge leading to it is the fishing pond, and over here we meet someone who gets almost no service at all. I mean, if you're going to make your island inaccessible to humans easily, because do you think people want to swim just to come to your fishing pond? I don't think so. So maybe if you built a bridge, you would get there. Anyways, so here is the fishing pond. This is a fishing mini game here, side quest. It's not really a mini game, I guess, because you're not timed. You can literally be here as long as you want. You just have to pay 20 rupees per fish. So I had 84 rupees. Of course, now I only have 64. So he's going to explain the rules to you, and I'm going to assume you wiggle them, or you, what? I'm going to assume you read what he says, and he mentioned something about a rumble pack, and the Nintendo 64 rumble pack was used for, of course, vibrations before, you know, video game companies had the technology to build it into the controller itself. It was an attachment you put on the rumble pack. Of course, however, I'm using a Nintendo 64 emulator, so a rumble pack is not available to me, sadly. Missed potential. But anyways, it's not necessary. It just, you know, it's kind of cool. I always love playing this game with a rumble pack. I just think it's cool. Anyway, once you have your fishing rod, you can read the rules, but it doesn't matter. Can't really break any of them, at least for right now. You can't break any of them. So I'll show you how fishing works. You can Z-target a fish, and then you use the A button to reel, and then the A button and the, I think it's the Z button to reel faster, or the A and the R button, and then the Z button can change your camera angle. So I caught a fish just to show it off, but that's not the one I'm chasing after. So this one weighs 3 pounds. Sorry to all of you out there who use the metric system, or I don't exactly know what the European version of this game is like. So, you know, anyway, I'm playing the North American version, so it's going to measure it in pounds. Anyway, once you're done with that, go ahead and bring your fishing pond, well, and yourself, of course, over to these rocks, or these lily pads here. So the fish we are after here is that one right there on the log, not the one that Navi was just Z-targeting. I'll show that one off here. So, of course, if you walk by the fish, it will scare them, and that is no good. It'll take a very long time for them to go back to where they once were, so that big fish right there is the one you want to get. So, I will be honest, I am not much of a fan of the fishing pond. I think it is kind of just redundant and annoying, and I've spent literal hours here before just trying to catch a stupid fish, because your fishing line can break, and then you'll lose the fish, and the pond owner will laugh at you and say, what was that, huh? So anyway, I skipped it over, actually, and I eventually caught this big fish, and this big fish here is the one you want. So after that, you can just jitter the B button, and then you can eventually get it. I actually had to leave and come back a couple of other times because I scared the fish away. I caught it, and then I lost it, and then thankfully this time I was able to catch it. I would hold down the A button as well as wiggle the control stick, just so that, you know, you can control the fish a little bit more. I'm sorry to tell this, but there really is no strategy here to catching fish. It's kind of chance-based because the fish can break the line, which is very annoying. It doesn't cost anything to fix it. You can literally just recast right after that. Anyway, this fish weighs 10 pounds, so that is pretty good. Make sure you select yes for keep it, because I don't know, if you're used to talking to Kaepora Gaebora and you're used to scrolling down to pick the option that you want, please read your options before you select. I've never accidentally selected no, but still, I just wanted to avoid that from happening. And you can't complain to me if you accidentally select no. I told you to read it. Anyway, once you're done with that, go ahead and bring it to the pond owner and then select weigh my fish. And he will be absolutely astonished by this thing. 10-pound fish? That's ridiculous, even for him. So, do that, and your prize is a piece of heart. Very nice. Look at that. I collected 5 pieces of heart in this video already. That is insane. Alright, once you're done with that, now go ahead and talk to him again and select I want to quit, because if you don't, then you'll still have the fishing rod, and then if you try to leave, then he'll say, hey, stop, don't leave the fishing pond. You have to give me back the fishing rod. It's also worth mentioning, too, that you can read or you can check out the fish tank, and it'll tell you the biggest fish ever caught and the angler. Anyway, after that, go ahead and leave the fishing pond, and I emptied out this bottle of milk that I had. You probably could have saved it by now, but I emptied it out because I need at least one bottle to be empty right now. One of the 3. Because in order to actually get into Lord Jabu Jabu's belly to go and save Princess Ruto, you need to have an empty bottle available, so I'm doing just that. Alright, that is it for Lake Hylia right now. Very beautiful place. Even on the Nintendo 64 in the late 90s, it still looks good, I think. After that, go ahead and dive down to the shortcut back to Zora's Domain, and now it's finally time to actually do stuff in the main game. Alright, once you're done with that, go ahead and come onto this shallow water bit, and surprisingly, the fish like to hang out in this shallow water, even though there's not much of them for them to move around. Go ahead and catch one fish in a bottle, and then, well, you know, you can maybe leave it offset of your heads-up display so that you don't accidentally dump it out. But then again, if you do accidentally dump it out, even though there's no water around, I think you can still grab it again. Anyway, I was breaking these pots, and I was crouch stabbing. Crouch stabbing is whenever you shield with R without Z targeting, and then you just press the B button. That's crouch stabbing. So anyway, this right here, you may have seen this. This is the Zora shop. You may have even went into it if you were curious. So this is the Zora shop. They say they have fresh fish, but let's take a look at that. 200 rupees for a single fish. And you can literally see I just went out and bottled one for free. So this guy right here even says I want a fish, but they're too expensive. I guess I'll just catch one for free, you know? That is the worst business I have ever seen. Actually, no it isn't, but in this game that is the worst business I have ever seen. These jars, of course, reappear whenever you reload the area. You get rupees, a Deku stick, and a Deku nut. Now, I can understand why they gave you the Deku stick, but as to why there's a Deku nut in one of those jars is beyond me, because you don't really need one here. Alright, now I would go ahead and equip the letter in, you know, one of your C slots, while still having the fish equipped, because I'm about to use it here pretty soon. Go ahead and show the letter to King Zora, and he will acknowledge that is from Princess Ruto, and he will give you a great mission to go and to save her. So, after that, he will eventually move out of the way, which takes a very long time, so I will go ahead and allow you to watch that at your leisure. Okay, that took way too long. Sorry about that. I'm very sorry to do that to you, and I'm also sorry to do this to you because while I was coming up here, I think I accidentally jumped off because I was too close to the side. Sorry about that. You see that? Look, I was too angled differently. Anyway, go ahead and equip your ocarina because actually there's another thing I want to do before I enter inside of Lord Jabu Jabu's belly. So, oh yeah, look at that little jump he did. That was because I was in the process of finishing a roll. Anyway, through this tunnel passage here, there is Zora's Fountain, and this is where all of Hyrule's water comes from. It's the source of all water. So, literally to the fence to my left is where the entrance to the Zora's domain is. You can even see that on the map of Hyrule, too, like on the map subscreen. Pretty cool. Anyway, after you're done with that, I'm actually going to go ahead and make my way to the southeast portion of this map. And actually, I wanted to point this out too. You can hear the music of Hyrule Field in here, you know, just as like you can hear it in a few other places. But this place actually does not have a day-night light cycle. So the time here does not change on its own. So you have to play the sun song if you want it to be nighttime here. Anyway, roll into that tree and there's another golden Skulltula token. And check out this wall here. I want to point this out. If you slash a wall with your sword, you can tell if it needs to be blown up or not by the sound it makes. So if it's like ding sound rather than just a bong sound, then that is how you know that it needs to be blown up. So look at that. You blow up the wall and that boulder next to it to the right, and you go pass through, and it is another Great Fairy's Fountain. Now, I know this probably isn't exactly where you want to be right now, but there's another really cool magic spell that we can get here, and I just wanted to show that off. Very sorry to put you through that again, but who cares? I just got Faeror's Wind, and this allows you to warp if you're inside of a dungeon. Pretty cool. I'm going to make use of that in the next video, just to show it off. Alright, actually, I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot that I got that golden Skulltula, so I just wanted to make sure. You know, you always got to make sure something, especially if you're making a walkthrough for the internet, or as to, I guess, whoever clicks on this video. That A button was an accident. I wanted to see if I could, you know, immediately guess where I was going to start walking and then press the A button to roll, but no such luck. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Anyway, you come over here and you can read this sign that tells you about, you know, King Jabu, or Lord Jabu Jabu from King Zora the 16th. For those of you who can't read Roman numerals, that is 16. Anyway, go ahead and empty out the bottled fish in front of Lord Jabu Jabu, and join me in the next video where we are going to be doing the next dungeon of the game inside Jabu Jabu's belly.